Okay, super quick. Write down the title, whatever today's date is, you need to make sure you write it down. And then your content objective, your language objective, and your guiding question. And of course, you can just put COLO and GQ for that. Okay, so basically, when you're dividing decimals, it is almost exactly the same thing as dividing without decimals. So I want you to write this first problem down, which is going to be number 3. Give yourself some room, and you're going to write 9 and 75 hundredths divided by 5. And please do not scrunch up your numbers because you need to give yourself room to work. The very first thing that you do is you move the decimal to the answer. So put let's say write your decimal in the answer, which is up at the top. Okay, so write, okay, so I made a little mistake. It's write the decimal in the answer. So wherever the decimal is, you're just going to put it right up there, right straight above it, keep it lined up, and then you're going to divide like normal. So, does 5 divide into 9? Remember, this is our divisor. 5 is a divisor. 9.75 is your dividend. 5 into 9, it goes only one time, which makes a group of 5. One group of 5 is 5. How close did we get? We got close enough to where we have 4 left over. And what happens after you subtract? After you subtract, you bring down the next number. So now we're looking at 47. Notice I didn't bring that decimal down. Once you put it up there in your answer, you're done with it. You can ignore it for the rest of the time. 5 into 47 goes 9 times because 9 times 5 is 45. That's as close as I can get, and I have 2 leftovers. Now bring down the next number, which is a 5. 5 into 25 goes 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25, and look at our remainder. It is 0. Okay, let's do number 4. 6.44 divided by 7. Our divisor is 7. Okay, what does number 1, step number 1 say to do? Put that decimal up there in your answer. And once you get it up there, you can forget about it. Now, how many times does 7 divide into 6? It doesn't, so let's put a 0 there. What is 0 times 7? 0. Subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. Bring down the next number, which is a 4. Now we're looking at 64. How many times does 7 go into 64? It goes 9 times. What is 9 times 7? 9 times 7 is 63. And how many leftovers do I have? 1. Bring down the next number, which is a 4. 7 into 14 goes twice. 2 times 7 is 14, and I have a remainder of 0. Okay, so that's my answer there. That's my answer there. You need these examples in your paper too. I wanted you to look at these problems. You don't have to write them down. I just want you to see what a real life problem would be like. Ella uses half a pound of raspberries in each raspberry cake that she makes. How many cakes? Okay, so one cake is the same thing as half a pound of raspberries. And it says, how many cakes can Ella make with 3 1/4 pounds of raspberries? So we're going to see how many groups of half a pound there are in 3.25. And you can see that that's what they set up here. Okay, that's all I want you to see. Here's the whole amount of raspberries that they're dividing up, 3.25 pounds. That's the dividend. And they're seeing how many groups of half a pound there are in that. Okay, we're not going to work that right now. I just wanted you to see what a real life problem looks like. Here's another one. Anthony spent $11.52 for some pens that were on sale for 72 cents each. How many pens did Anthony buy? So you have all this money that he spent, $11.52, and each one was 72 cents. So how many groups of 72 are there in $11.52? And that's what they have here. They have this set up. There's all the money that he spent, and here is each pen. So how many pens did he buy? You have to divide that. Okay, now what looks different from these problems and the ones before? On these, there is a decimal in the divisor. So I'm going to teach you what to do with that. What do you do when there is a decimal in the divisor? Go ahead and set up the problem like normal. Okay, I'm going to do it down here on the bottom. You work this with me. 4.25 divided by 0.5. Okay, and what you do is you move the decimal to the very end of the number so that it is now a whole number. It's not here anymore, it's at the end of the number. So instead of it being a decimal, now it is a whole number. How many times did we move it? How many numbers did we have to go around to get it to the end? We had to go around one number. So inside the box in the dividend, you're going to move the decimal around one number there. And now it's here. And then you go ahead and follow the steps from before. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite this problem. It is 42 and a half divided by my whole number of 5. Okay? The reason we do it is because we can work it easier without this decimal. We're not thinking in parts, we're thinking in wholes. And 5 goes into 42 and a half the same number of times that 0.5, 5/10, goes into 4 and 25 hundredths. Moving the decimal around, it's still going to give us the same answer. Put the decimal in the answer and let's start dividing. Does 5 divide into 4? No. What about 42? Yes. 5 goes into 42 8 times, which is 40. And you have how many left over? 2. And what happens after you subtract? You bring down the next number. Gives me 5. So 5 into 25 is 5. Notice, you guys, I didn't bring down the decimal. Once I put it up there in my answer, that's it. 5 times 5 is 25, and I have 0 left over. Okay? Now let's do number 6. Write down the problem to number 6, and let's go ahead and move the decimal up here. So how many numbers do I have to go around to get my decimal to the end of the divisor? I have to go around 2 numbers this time. That means I'm going to have to go around 2 numbers in my dividend in the box. 1, 2. You can see I counted 2 by the number of humps. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, go around 2 numbers, and that put that number at the end also. So now I have 84 divided into 1,512. Okay, so let's work it. Does 8 go into 1? No, it does not. Does 8 go into 15? No, it does not. Does 84 go into, I think I said 8. Does 84 go into 151? Why, yes, it does. It goes in 1 time. Okay, now we're doing this problem. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 8 is 8. In other words, 1 times 84 is 84. Let's see how close we got. You guys, you have to borrow. 4 does not subtract from 1. You have to come over here and borrow. Make sure you show the borrowing. If you need to see how you borrow again after I show you this example, rewind it and watch it again. Now I need to take 8 from the 4 up here. Okay? I can't. 4 is too small, so come over here to the 1 and borrow. And that's 14 minus 8, which is 6. Okay, we subtracted. Now we're going to bring down the next number, which is a 2. 84 into 672. Okay, you can do kind of estimating with this. How many times does 8 go into 67? It goes in 8 times because 8 times 8 is 64. This is why I have you practicing your math facts. 8, okay? So now let's multiply 8 times 4. I'm doing this 8 right here. 8 times this 4 right here is 32. 32. And 8 again times 8 is 64, plus the 3 that I had to carry is 67. And that leaves me with nothing. So my answer is 18.